Hey everyone, welcome back to today's lesson on action potentials and synaptic transmission. Let's start off with a scenario. Imagine you're about to take a sip of your favorite hot coffee, but you accidentally burn your tongue in the process. Have you ever wondered what happens in your nervous system when this occurs? This process may be difficult to understand, so let's break it down step by step. Let's talk about action potentials. This is an electrical signal that travels down the axon of the neuron. When you burn your tongue, the heat from the hot coffee is the stimulus that triggers this process. The moment the hot coffee touches your tongue, sensory neurons in your mouth detect the heat. These sensory neurons send a signal to your brain, letting them know something hot is there. At the resting membrane potential, the neuron is considered resting. The inside of the neuron is more negative than the outside, with potassium ions inside and sodium ions outside. But when the stimulus from the hot coffee comes in, things change. When the stimulus is strong enough, the neuron reaches the threshold and the action potential begins. Voltage-gated sodium channels open, allowing sodium ions to rush in. This makes the inside of the neuron more positive. This is the depolarization phase. After the neuron reaches the peak of depolarization, it goes into repolarization, where voltage-gated potassium channels open and potassium exits the neuron. This restores the inside of the neuron to the negative charge. Finally, in the last step is the hyperpolarization phase. Potassium continues to leave, making the inside of the neuron more negative than it was before. This is temporary, and the sodium-potassium pump will restore the neuron to its resting state. Now let's look what happens when the action potential reaches the end of the neuron at the synapses. When the action potential reaches the axon terminal, it opens voltage-gated calcium channels, allowing calcium ions to flow in. This load of calcium triggers synaptic vesicles filled with neurotransmitters to fuse with the membrane, releasing them into the synaptic cleft. The neurotransmitters then travel across the synapses and bind to receptors on the postsynaptic neuron. This can cause ion channels on the postsynaptic neuron to open, leading to the depolarization and possibly triggering a new action potential to continue the signal. Afterward, the neurotransmitters need to stop their effect, and there are two ways this may happen. Number one is reuptake, where the neurotransmitters are reabsorbed back into the presynaptic neuron, which can prevent them from continuing to affect the postsynaptic neuron. The second way is enzymatic breakdown, where the enzymes in the synaptic cleft break down the neurotransmitters, turning off their effect. The byproducts can be recycled for future use afterwards. This concept may be difficult to understand, but let me sum it for you. The action potential is an electrical signal that moves down the axon, triggered by sodium and potassium ions. When the signal reaches the synapses, neurotransmitters are released, cross the synaptic cleft, and bind to receptors on the next neuron. This allows our nervous system to react quickly, like when you burn your tongue on hot coffee and immediately pull the cup away to avoid more pain. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.